This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. When you visit the doctor, you probably hand over your insurance, your ID, and contact details. It's just one of the many places that has your personal info. And if any of them accidentally expose it, you could be at risk for identity theft. LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second. If you become a victim, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year at lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Menopausal and perimenopausal women, listen up. It's time to take control of your health and comfort, and Winona is here to help. Winona is a telemedicine company for menopause care who believes that your symptoms are real, important, and deserve to be taken seriously. And for many women, this starts with hormone replacement therapy. Winona's HRT is made with plant-based, bioidentical hormones rather than synthetic ones, so it better aligns with your body to offer relief from hot flashes, weight gain, and other uncomfortable symptoms. 80% of women who use Winona find relief within just 90 days. So, what are you waiting for? Get started today. Visit buywinona.com today to start your free visit. With free shipping and the ability to pause or cancel at any time, your path to wellness has zero obligations. Use code SPRING24 at buywinona.com for 25% off your first treatment plan. That's BYWINONA.com for 25% off. Winona. Menopause care made easy. Summer is the season of hot temperatures, outdoor adventures, and refreshing water activities. Summer is also the season of rough on your feet, causing dry, cracked heels and toes. Introducing Babyfoot, the original exfoliation foot peel that contains 16 natural extracts formulated to remove dead skin cells in 3 easy steps. Apply the booties, relax for an hour, then wash your feet. In 14 days, you've got baby smooth skin and your feet have never been softer. Letting dead skin cells build up over time is hazardous to your foot health. Our professional-grade DIY products, like our original exfoliation foot peel, our men's foot peel, or our moisturizing mask, are some of the best foot care products on the market, created with your foot health in mind. Pamper yourself with a spa day from the comfort and convenience of your own home with Babyfoot. If you want a chemical-free, easy-to-use exfoliating process from the company that created the original foot peel, it's time to treat yourself to Babyfoot. Go to babyfoot.com and use the code SUMMERFEET24 and get 20% off your first order with Babyfoot. That's babyfoot.com and use the code SUMMERFEET24.
Take me out to the podcast. Okay. All right. You know what? That was basically like a foul ball of podcast intros. No worries. I get 3 strikes. Anyway, welcome to Too Stupid to Live, a podcast that reviews romance novels $5 and under. I'm your host, Becky Feldman, and as you surmised, today we are discussing a book about America's favorite pastime, ogling baseball players. That's right, Peanuts and Cracker Jacks. We are rooting for a baseball romance. I mean, it's the perfect time. My guests and I are reviewing Jock Blocked by Pippa Grant. It is currently $4.99. And I am so excited about my guest today. She's a comedy writer and one of the first performers I ever saw when I first moved out here to Los Angeles. She's hilarious. Amy Rhodes is joining the show. With her love of sports and endearing sports-based superstitions, this episode is, for sure, a home run. So please enjoy this review of Jock Blocked. Amy, welcome to Too Stupid to Live, this podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited that you're here too. I've had you on this list of people I wanted to have on all the time because I feel like I used to run into you at Starbucks a lot when I was working with Courtney and, be like, oh, what are you up to? And I'm like, oh, I'm doing this podcast or I'm starting this podcast. And so I'm so happy you're finally here.
Yes. That Starbucks closed, by the way. It's like the tragedy of my life.
Where do you go? I don't understand.
I know.
Well, the one block down.
Yeah, it's like I go to the one on San Fernando. That's like a couple. It's actually good for me because that was always like where I would walk my dog. And now I'm like, oh, I actually have to take her on like a long walk to the Starbucks. So it's an incentive for me to get out of bed and do something.
That's great. Yeah. Well, yeah, some others, I lost, you won, the dog won.
Exactly, exactly.
That is great. Okay, so I have to ask you, have you ever read a romance novel before, or do you read romance?
I do. I read.
You
I
do?
do read it. I do.
I don't know why I got so excited just now. I'm like, ah!
Like, see, okay, this kind of more like, what do you want to say, R-rated or like,
I was like,
I don't know,
spicy, high
spicy,
heat. Yeah.
spicy. I read a little bit more mainstream stuff usually.
Hmm.
I specifically remember reading a book like this that I like bought when I think I was probably in junior high at a like a church book sale, and I like hid it, and then I would just like always read the sex parts, like, oh my God, what, like, over and over. So I read that one, and then I mean, but then yes, I do read a lot of like rom-com books.
Hmm. That's
It's
awesome.
yeah.
Is there any ones in specific right now that you want to recommend?
Okay, yes. There's a couple that I've read recently that I really like. Honey and Spice
Okay.
by Baloo Balaboa. I love that book. I think it's so funny. And then I just read Romantic Comedy. It's by I think Curtis
Hmm.
Stettenfield or something is her name, and I really liked that. And then I don't know, do you read Emily Henry books?
I
Have you read
don't
any?
know.
Okay, so I guess she's pretty popular rom-com writer, and my friend recommended a book of hers that I just finished called Book Lovers that I really liked.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like I read rom-coms. Oh, and then 7 Days in June by
Hmm.
Tia, I think it's Tia Williams. Those are the
Hmm.
ones that I've read this year. So I do, it's like kind of every other book I'm like a little rom-com
Oh,
because like
I love
kind
it.
of like it feels good, you know?
Yeah. Would you ever? You are a comedy writer. Like, would you? Have you ever considered writing? Or has any? Or one, have you ever considered it? And two, does everyone ask you that?
To write a rom-com book.
Yeah.
I actually have been thinking about it more recently since, like I can't do my regular job because of the
Right.
writer's strike. And I'm like, I feel like, yeah, I might end up doing that at some point. I like a book's so overwhelming, but yeah, if I wrote a novel, I feel like the no-brainer would be to write a rom-com because I write that's what I write for like screenplays most of the time. And so yeah, I think so. What about you? Would you ever
People
consider?
well, yeah, I mean, I consider it, and I have like worked on some things. Like, I worked on a game recently that involved writing romance, so I was able to kind of like dabble into that world a little bit, which made me blush. I don't know. It seems like it's weird because it's like, oh, I love to, but it's also like, do you feel like, oh, I don't like, I read these things for fun. This is fun. Like, oh, is it going to be weird to kind of, and will I ruin the fun of it? Do you know what I mean? Like, will I
I
ruin
do
the
get that.
fun?
I do get that. Yeah. And then it's also that thing where I'm like, I also am like, well, it feels like every idea is already out. Like you have to come up with such a specific idea, a really good
Yeah.
idea. But
Hmm.
yeah, I do think that they seem, I mean, I don't think writing is ever really fun for writers, like, but they seem like something that, like, at least when I'm reading them, I'm like, I feel like the person enjoyed writing this on some level.
Yes.
So
And that's always like makes what makes like a book fun to read is like, oh, I'm picturing you at your laptop just having a blast, and it's like,
yes,
yeah.
yes, for sure, for sure. Yeah.
So I asked you if you were interested in any subgenres, and you said sports, and so I wanted to ask you. I don't know. Are you a sports person? Are you a fan of the
Um,
sports?
I'm a I'm a fan of the sports.
Okay.
I played sports when I was growing up. I and then in high school and stuff. And I'm a basketball fan.
Okay.
I With other sports I don't watch them, but I probably kind of know what's going on in baseball because I have friends, so I sort of pay attention to baseball a little bit. And football, again, I have some friends that like watch, like I grew up in Iowa, so I have a lot of friends that are Kansas City Chiefs fans, like diehard. So I'm always like, oh, I always feel like I'm like, oh, they're in the Super Bowl. Well, I hope they win, and then I watch the halftime show. But
That's so
I do
sweet.
watch
Yeah.
basketball a lot, I watch a lot of basketball. So that's kind of my
Mhm.
jam.
Okay, so obviously this is romance. Obviously, like, there's the hunk aspect of a baseball player. Is there a hunky aspect to basketball players that, like, you find intriguing?
Yeah, I mean, yes, there's definitely basketball players that I'm like, oh, I like him. Like when I was growing up, it was I watched college basketball
Mhm.
and like was just there was always someone that I was gonna marry. Like, like that I
Yeah.
was like, I'm definitely marrying him. Like I was always in love with a basketball player. Um, and yeah, I mean, I definitely find some of them really like one of the things I guess what I like a lot about basketball players is there's this kind of thing that's happened where they're like also really fashionable, like
Mhm.
and like that part of it is fun for me because I'm like it kind of crosses over into something like that I also like, which is like fashion, like what girls and then I'm like, oh my god, like before the games are always showing like what they're wearing and it's like really well thought out. But yeah, I mean, I guess there's definitely basketball players that I'm like, ooh, he's really good looking.
Yeah. Cuz it feels like, and like this comes up in the book too, like it feels like sports celebrities are a moment now. It's not just the game they play, and it's not just like their bodies. It's like their
Everything.
everything.
So I came like I'm sure it's true in other sports as well, but I feel like there's like almost like there's like a whole like I know a lot about their families and then there's drama and then there's like this person's mad at this person and like right now for basketball it's like trade season and that's so dramatic. It's like they kind of keep it going even. Yeah, it's become something more than just their games, which I find fun. It's almost like I was telling someone I was like there's almost like a Real Housewives aspect or something to it now, like very like that I can be like, well, this person got traded to this team and then tweeted this thing and then this person subtweeted them, so I can get really into. And then during the of course like during the season there's all the like rivalries and this person says something dumb about this person and then da da da, so I get into that drama
I
too
love it. Yeah,
yeah.
because like it seems like, again, when you're like, I'm not that well versed in sports, but I have seen clips of well, it seems like it's high stakes, it's so emotional, but what's so nice about sports as opposed to like real life and probably Real Housewives is that like at the end of the day you're like, good game, and then you like go back to your life. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yeah. Like that ultimately is just like there's so much like especially during the playoffs, there's so much build up of like they do a really good job of building it up, but then like and this year particularly, I'm a Lakers fan first and foremost, a Lakers fan of basketball, and this year like I remember being like I kind of can't wait till the playoffs are over because like it's emotionally exhausting for me because there's
Mm.
so many games like that I'm just like all day I would be feel myself being nervous about the game that night. And so yeah, but then once it's done you're just kind of like okay, you get like a end result, whereas with the Housewives it's just like ongoing forever and ever.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Do you like feel a sense of community with people like being so devoted to Lakers and basketball?
Yes, I do. I mean, I have like certain friends that are you're like this is my friend that I text about this thing, this is my
Mhm.
friend like I have a friend who is also he's even more of a Lakers fan than me and we just text like we just he's like we're kind of he's like he's always saying like we should like be the commentators for Lakers because we know so much like and we know the behind the scenes things and then he'll always be like did you see this thing, did you see that thing, and then I have other friends that I kind of like force it upon them. They'll be like, okay, tell me what you want to tell me about LeBron right now, and then let's move on. But also, like, a lot of my friends know that I also am a big LeBron James fan. And I think, like, I have friends that'll literally, like, if he's injured that don't watch basketball at all and something happens to him and they'll text me like are you okay, like that they know like that it like that I'm emotionally attached to this thing. And I think it's because I mean I grew up with my parents really being into, they were into football and basketball, and like it was just an emotional thing when we were watching a game in our house. A lot of like cheering, jumping up and down, all that stuff. And then, not to get ahead of ourselves, but there was things about this that I related, the book that I specifically related to.
Oh, that's awesome. Because
Yeah.
I think like in this book, superstition, it plays a huge theme. And I wanted to ask you, like, before I read a synopsis, like in general, like with your sports fandom and loving basketball, and maybe in life, are you a superstitious person? Do you have anything like about your psyche that's like, this is superstition, I know?
Oh, absolutely. Like
Yeah.
everything. Like to a psychotic degree. Like I know that like when I was reading this book, and this person is like, you would arguably say like over the top with superstition, to me I was like, no, that makes sense.
Oh my
Like,
God, that's
yeah,
good.
so like around basketball I have like insane superstitions.
Mhm.
And then just in general in life, like, the dumb stuff that I not that everybody does, but that I do, that I'm like, if this thing happens, then this great thing is going to happen to me. Like,
Mhm.
if like whatever, if I make this green light, then I'm going to get this job. Like, crazy weird stuff that doesn't matter. But yes, I'm very superstitious about stuff like that. And I'm
Yeah.
trying to get over certain things. I'm trying to get over negative superstitions. I was walking the other day, and a black cat
Hmm.
literally walked right in front of me, and I was like, oh God. And then I was like, no, like that's dumb. That's like it's not like, I was like, I guess because it's superstitions, you should just go with what like you decide works for you. And I
Hmm.
was like, no, that's a dumb one. Black cats seem nice, and no, didn't I
Yeah.
don't I'm not I reject that as bad luck.
I think that's smart because, like, I think like, and my neighbors have a black cat that I cross paths with, and so I think like I see it in my body. You know what I mean? Like I just
Right.
like feel like I'm a kid again, and people are like, oh, and it's like it's not even like I'm doing it rationally anymore. And then
Right.
it's like, I think I'm sure the cat's great. Like it seems
Yeah,
very
it's just
nice.
like it's a neighborhood cat, and I was like, I've seen it. I've crossed the street to avoid it before, and it just like popped out of nowhere and literally ran right across. And I was also kind of like, well, I've had kind of like a crazy year in a way that I'm like, I don't particularly think that you could bring more bad luck. So,
Yeah.
try if you want, but I don't think it's happening. So, like,
Yeah.
but yeah, but I do have like little weird superstitions about stuff.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone does, even if people are like, I don't, you
Yeah.
know? And I
Yeah.
think, yeah. And I think that's like the characters in this book. Here, I'll read the synopsis right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the book that Amy and I reviewed is Jock Blocked by Pippa Grant. Great title, which is currently $4.99. Okay. So okay, here we go. I wrote this earlier today, so I'm
Okay.
hoping, okay. How can a baseball player hit a home run but never make it around all the bases? Well, that's exactly the situation Brooks Elliott finds himself in. When he tries to play the field with women, his play on the field with baseball suffers, so he's refrained from sex. But when he's unwillingly traded to the Fireballs, the worst team in baseball, abstinence is no longer 100% effective when it comes to his quality of life. But a die-hard Fireballs fan named Mackenzie throws Brooks a curveball. If that's a thing, that's a baseball term. I'm praying.
It is.
Curveballs.
Curveball is a real thing. Yes.
Thank God. Okay. She knows his V card secret and will do whatever it takes to see her team go all the way. And that's by making sure that Brooks doesn't. But when sparks fly between the two of them, their instant attraction makes them wonder what's more important, winning or scoring.
Yes. Yes. That's a good synopsis. Good job.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so I just want to talk about Mackenzie first because we were just talking about being
Yes.
superstitious. She is
Yes.
diehard baseball fan and
Yes.
is insanely superstitious.
Yes.
And you said you related to a few things about her that like I gotta know because she's like
So she does
heightened.
stuff like when she goes to a baseball game, her best friend has to, when certain people are up to bat, like her best friend, she makes her best friend go to the bathroom.
Hmm.
She has to eat certain things, right? Like there aren't
Hmm.
these things she has to do, right? Like wear certain things, whatever. So are you asking what my
Yeah.
like, superstitions around? Okay. So this was years ago. The Lakers were in the finals, and I was watching with my boyfriend at the time, who was also a huge Lakers fan. And it was the seventh game, huge game. That's the final game, and at some point I walked out of the, it was a close game, and I walked out of the room, and then like Kobe scored a three, whatever, something great happened. So we decided the rest of the time, anytime the Lakers had the ball, I had to get up and walk out of the room. So that was that for that specific game. But then broad, like one of the things that I do is, and I think it's based in anxiety, is when it's a close game, I have to watch it on mute, so I can't
Mm.
hear what's going on. And I do feel like I, as soon as I mute it, I always feel like I'm like, oh, the tides are turning in our favor. I think it's I get anxious hearing the noises or something. I don't know. Often I'll, if like during the playoffs, if the Lakers are winning or something like that, I'll just eat the same dinner every night. Um, this last, their colors are gold and purple. I found a gold and purple flower, picked it. They were winning. So then I would go back to that person's yard every time there was a game and pick a flower. And then when they started losing, like my excuse is like, well, the mojo just wore off on that, right? Like it's not
Hmm.
like, oh, well, that's irrelevant. That they're not sitting in the locker room being like, I think she picked that flower today. We're gonna have a great day. I don't know. But like,
The
yeah, so
neighbor called. Someone's been picking my flowers, Lakers, and I
I
know.
know, I know. Yeah. So it's just like things like that, I guess, that are weird. I know they're weird.
I mean,
And
but I feel like I guess I'm superstitious, but like when I see things like, oh, I can't look, or I don't know, like I don't know, like just like I have to close my eyes when so and so is doing this because I don't want to
right.
watch this get like fucked up. Like it is a superstition, and I think it's also based in anxiety, but I think like superstitions around sports are so much more endearing than like superstitions around like bad luck.
Right, right, right. That's the thing, is I'm like, it's more fun if it's more fun to like, and it's like, what the harm if every night I'm like, I'm gonna have this specific meal, like, okay. But yeah, the bad luck one is just like kind of a bummer, right? Because it's like,
Yes,
it's
yeah.
kind of like, oh, now I'm gonna have terrible life for 7 years. It's like, okay, well, you just kind of gave up on it, didn't you? There, like, so yeah. But yeah, I did feel like the way this was written, like we were supposed to think that she was kind of kooky for having all those superstitions, and at no point was I like, that's weird. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Hmm.
Just certain things that I have to do.
Yeah, I love that you had that reaction because I was reading it and I'm like, she's so endearing, she's so funny. I'm so curious what Amy will think of her. Like, I don't know
Yeah,
why I was thinking that because like it's just like because I guess in my brain I'm like I relate to everything that she's doing,
yeah,
and it's like, is there something wrong with me? You know what I mean? Like you're just like,
yeah, yeah. No,
no, she's
I think
cute.
I thought it was sweet. I thought it was sweet that like this, it's just like I get something, and it like making you really happy in that way. Like I was like, oh, like just going and doing this thing brings her a lot of joy. And
Hmm.
I get that from like basketball season, just in general, is a very like, it brings me like, it's I find it super entertaining, and it brings me more joy than even when my team loses. I'm like, but I mean, I can be in a bad mood when they lose, like I am like that kind of person. But like overall, you know what I mean, it's like something that I get a lot of enjoyment out of.
Hmm.
I'm not obsessed, like I'm not as obsessed with a sports team as she is the Fireballs.
Yes, she's
Like
very
that was
obsessed.
like that to me, like where I was like, wow, it's her whole outside of, it's her whole life kind of, it's
Yes,
like,
yeah.
and like I
Hmm.
definitely have other things I do. So,
Yeah, like she kind of reminded me of like, like around the Super Bowl or, like during the World Series or whatever, like the news will always like feature there's always like some story about like a diehard fan, like they'll see
yeah,
their house and like it's decked out in whatever sports team and like you learn about their life and it's like, oh, these people do exist, you know what I
right,
mean?
right,
But she
right.
like is full on like in addition to like this team being terrible and her not like wanting them to be better and she's devoted to them, there's also this like kind of like side plot line of like they have to choose a new mascot and she's
Yeah,
very adamant that they maintain the original dragon
right.
mascot.
Yes, she was really into the mascot. And that I was kind of like, I mean, does anybody care about the mascot? I guess people do. That's another whole like subculture to sports, like mascots, that I think is like a really like people get really into the mascots or in real life, I think. Like it
Hmm.
like as you know, there are certain like teams that had like they had to change their mascots because they were like offensive.
Hmm.
And like some people were really mad that that was happening, like you can't
Hmm.
take that away from me, like that matters to them. Also, I read something recently that this is just tangential, but that the mascots make like so much, they make like $250,000 a year.
What?
I read something, I could be wrong, but that I read something that like some, and maybe it's not all the mascots, but it's something like that. And I was like, it does seem like a hard job,
Hmm.
and I guess probably in just in terms of physically, like a lot of the stuff they have to do, but like, um, I could be wrong, but maybe that's like they're doing stuff all year round, like,
Probably, because I imagine like there's probably like local commercials and
yeah,
charity functions
yeah,
and things like
yeah,
that. And just
yeah,
like hearing you talk and like reading about Mackenzie, it's like mascots do more than just wear a costume. They bring joy
yeah.
to what you
Yeah,
love.
they do. I mean, apparently, like I know that there are like in the like there are famous mascot. Like I can almost picture, like I don't know enough about baseball to even know what mascot goes with what team or whatever.
Hmm.
But I know that there are famous ones, especially I feel like in or baseball,
Hmm.
the mascots are kind of like really because baseball's a little bit slower in terms of I feel like there's more time for them to entertain the crowd or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I grew up outside Philadelphia. And so when we would go to baseball games, we had, the Philly Fanatic, who that is my first, like, as a young kid, that's like my first, like, understanding of what a mascot is. So I think I always thought that mascots were like this amorphous, like, kind of animal. I didn't realize that like, oh, mascots could also be like Vikings and like real animals. I
Right,
thought that they were
right.
just like big green, like every state had their own fuzzy like monster looking mascot.
Right, but what is the Philly fanatic? What is it?
He's just like this like green amorphous figure. Like he's not like he like no one knows what he is. Like I
Okay.
could be wrong. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's always been like what is he? There's no he looks like an Elmo, like, and or like, a Muppet or something, but like is like the size of a human being and it's just like
Right.
this like creature, like just some creature. And that's what I always thought mascots were just like there's
I
like
think I can
humans,
picture him.
animals,
Yeah.
mascots.
Yes, exactly. I think I can picture him in my head.
You've probably seen him before because
I
there
feel
was
like,
yeah.
yeah, I feel like I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I feel like I feel like a lot of the mascots aren't real. Like I was on the opposite side. Because I was like where I grew up, the mascots were so I grew up with like college stuff. So it was
Hmm.
like Iowa Hawkeyes. So it was
Right.
a Hawkeye, right? Or
Hmm.
the Iowa State Cyclones. And that was that was not a cycle. It didn't look like a
Oh.
cyclone.
Hmm.
I think he looks like a bird, kind of, and they're
Hmm.
like, I think he's called Cy the Cyclone. So even that doesn't quite, but
Yeah.
like, but they were things, not
Right.
like this is just sounds like it's just a like not even a real thing.
Yeah.
But then I do
Yeah.
see that some that I'm like, what is that like blue thing with like, I don't know, but I think I can picture what you're talking about.
Yeah,
But
I think it's just like it like looks like, whoever was designing it like put it together last minute. I mean, I'm going against I feel like everyone from Philadelphia is going to hate me now, but like but it does feel like, you know, like it like this the design was very like last minute put together, like day before assignment was due or something.
Right.
But you just like have this cultural phenomenon for, you know, Philadelphia that like sticks with me, and I'm not even like this diehard baseball fan.
Right. I know. Yeah. Those things kind of stick with you when you like if you grow up immersed in them, even if you're
Mm-hmm.
not super into the sport. They kind of represent for I think for professional sports, they represent your city.
Mm-hmm.
And then for like collegiate sports, they really represent your like state. If you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
like I Iowa and Iowa State are like very like they but like if you go to Iowa State, you hate Iowa. If you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean, like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have a little bit more. I didn't go to either college, so I have a little bit more like I could like either one. I think
Mm-hmm.
like I have a preference of Iowa State because I know more people that went or like more people that are close to me that are huge Cyclone fans.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, it's like I really do associate those two things with like hometown pride kind of or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they're part
Mm-hmm.
of my like part of Iowa to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think like going to like Brooks's character,
Yeah.
where like did you feel for him in that respect, because he was traded to the Fireballs and he's from the New York team, grew
Right.
up, raised New York. I'm assuming it's Yankees in this book. I don't know, or maybe it's the Yankee equivalent.
Well, there was like that was one thing to me, knowing a little bit about sports, I was like, there's leagues or divisions, right?
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like there's the minor leagues and then there's the major leagues. And it was like this was written in a way that was vague because it
Mm-hmm.
was like I was like, I'm not sure what one point she said there were 40,000 people. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking that that's the major leagues, right? I
Yeah, I assumed Major just because he was so celebrity like, you
Yes, I
know?
kind of went with like their like this is a fictional major league
Mm-hmm.
team. Um, it took me a minute to get there because at first I did feel like I was like, oh, this is like Bull Durham or something where he just is like, like on some small town team or something. But
It
then
did
I was
feel
like,
that way.
oh, I think he's supposed to be like a like Derek Jeter or somebody like
Mm-hmm.
somebody that we all know or whatever.
Yeah, I think I got that sense too, because like in the beginning when you meet them, like you know, Mackenzie's just a fan, but she goes like I was gonna say backstage. She goes like in the locker room and she's like
Yes.
hanging out with them like they're her friends, and they all seem like neighbors, you know? So I definitely got that small town
That's what
vibe.
I thought as I was like, I mean, anybody that's kind of just like hanging out with the team and everybody's like, there's our fan. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that in them, but there are people like that in like big professional sports. I feel like there's somebody, I don't know, like Daryl the Clippers fan or
Mm-hmm.
something like that everybody knows Daryl. And then like I do feel like some teams must have those people that like are like mega fans or
Yeah,
something.
like and they're a kind of a celebrity in their own right in a way, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I do feel like I've seen that like yeah, I feel like I've seen that on other sports. But yeah,
Yeah.
in terms of him getting traded to a team he didn't want to be on, I did
Mm-hmm.
feel because like I was telling you earlier, it's trade time for the
Yeah.
basketball people. And I there's like I'm an enigma because I also like the Boston Celtics because I went to college in Boston,
Mm-hmm.
and the Lakers and Celtics are complete rivals. So people, when I say that, people are like, huh? And I'm like, I'm a girl, like I get to do whatever I want. I feel like I can watch. You know what I feel like men are like my friend was like, well, if LeBron gets traded, you're just gonna root for LeBron. I was like, yeah, probably for like a little while, and then I'll, until he
Mm-hmm.
retires. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's just, I'm like, I get to make up the rules of how I participate in this. But one of the main players got traded, and I just saw an interview today where they were like, did you cry? And he's like, yeah, I cried because like these guys were like my brothers. And I was just like, oh my God, it like really touched me because I think men in professional sports would probably not admit to that, first of all, and second of all, I did feel for him, like that. That's such a weird concept to me that someone can just call you and be like, now you're moving here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, and you're like, oh,
you
what?
feel like a prop in a movie almost,
Yeah,
not a person, and it's
yeah.
like, oh, it's so cold and harsh, and yeah.
It's weird. That to me, like that you could just be like at any given moment, like just up and I know they're not like packing up their houses and moving their stuff and all that stuff, but it's like you do get used to living in a certain place, I would assume.
Oh yeah,
And then all of
yeah.
a sudden you're like in a totally different place. Look, they make enough money that it's like I don't feel that sorry for them, but I
Hmm.
do feel like I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm sure that would like I'm sure especially if you were really close to the team and felt like you were an asset and they did that for your feelings, you
Oh
know?
yeah, it's like you're leaving your family, and it's like, I
Yeah.
mean, he was literally leaving his family because his family kind of, I'm assuming, like lived in that area and he moved,
Yes.
but like he also like he's also like on this trajectory of like kind of his thing is like, hey man, you got to just like go with the flow and like have the right attitude and stuff. And I'm like, well, if I was taken away from a place that like was like literally defined me, like I think I would give myself enough space to kind of like be a little negative for a second.
I agree. I feel like I would just be like, yeah, this sucks. Like, you know what I mean? I think his attitude of being like really like I'm not gonna try and I'm mad. I wasn't like, what a dick. Like, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? I was like, oh, yeah, like he's just like also that was because it like did it say okay, sorry, I did read the book, but like what town were they in? Did it ever
I For a second I thought it was like someplace in Virginia, some like, yeah, that's what I thought.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah,
someplace down south. Yeah.
okay, okay. So it was okay.
It's a
But
culture shock. I mean, New York to
yeah,
Virginia is
yeah, yeah.
big.
I mean, I always think about that when it's like someone gets traded from like gets traded to like San Antonio. I'm not shitting on San Antonio, Texas,
Hmm.
but it's like or whatever, or some place there are like Utah. You know what I mean? Like, what if all of a sudden you're like, I was on the Brooklyn Nets and now I'm traded to Utah Jazz, and I was like, I have to go play in Utah. Like, it's just a very different culture that you're
Hmm.
going into. You know,
Yeah.
and I know they travel a lot, but like most of the time, these people have families, and then their families will move where they move.
Hmm.
So that's another thing too. Like all of a sudden, you're like just in a really different kind of environment.
Oh, totally. Like I used to babysit because like in my neighborhood, like there's like not in my neighborhood, in my town, there is a neighborhood where like the Philadelphia athletes live. It's like a very like
Right,
nice
right, right.
part of town. I used to babysit for the kids for one of like the Eagles, and he had just moved to town from like the South, had they never met a Jewish person before, and I remember having to like, I'm like 13, like explaining that like, oh, there's other religions, like. Like they, you know what I mean, like they
That's
hadn't heard the
amazing.
word synagogue, and it was like just having to like, oh yeah, this is a huge culture shock for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like when I went to college, and I was
Yeah.
like, people are openly gay, like because I was
Mm.
like, what going from Iowa to Boston,
Yeah.
just like immediately when I got there, I was just like, oh, people just like doing that out in the streets. Because of course, like in high school, my
Hmm.
best friend was gay, but I was like the only person that knew, you know, like he was
Right. Yeah.
were this was a while ago, so it wasn't like it is now, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, it was and even that was a culture shock for me too, like just going I felt like Boston was so big
Yeah.
compared to where I'd come from.
I went
Now
to
I
school in
go to
Boston too.
Boston,
Yeah.
then I lived
Hmm.
in New York after that. Now
Oh yeah.
in Boston, I'm like, oh, it's a manageable city to me.
Hmm.
But like at the time, I was like, so you're telling me you just get on the subway and then you get out and you're in like a completely different kind of neighborhood. Like it was just bizarre to me, right? Like, and it was
Hmm.
major culture shock. But
Oh,
the Jewish thing
totally.
is really funny. That is like, because that also that kind of for me too. Like I knew
Hmm.
one Jewish person in high school. There was only one person that I knew that
Right.
was Jewish, you know?
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
like that was the other thing when I got to college. I was like, there's a lot of Jewish people in the world. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like, it's not just the one. Like, so that
Yeah.
was like, yeah. So I'm sure the culture shock of going to a different place. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I like understood where he was coming from. Like but what I did like about him is that like he wasn't too brooding. Like he was upset, understandably upset,
Yes.
but he didn't like he wasn't like that brooding figure of like like a grumpy
Right.
dude.
Right. No, yeah, he definitely was just like he still had some, I guess the word I would use is buoyancy to him. Like,
Mhm.
some like kind of it, yeah, he was like pouting but like active. You know what I'm saying? I think
Yes.
sometimes when you create characters that are in a pissy pouting mood, they seem really like Eeyore kind of
Mhm.
slow moving, but he wasn't that. And I think it's also because the Mackenzie character was sort of just like this whirlwind, like, going all the time. So when they encountered each other, it was kind of like he had to keep up, kind of.
Yeah, he needed her, cuz
Yeah.
like I feel like he came around pretty quickly to like kind of like because like he like kind of like adopting like or just like understanding that these fans including the team themselves, they're all nuts with these superstitions, like
Yes.
eating this before that and having the goat and this and that, and it's like he like yeah, it's a culture shock, but he takes it like relatively in stride. I'm sure there's other people that are like, oh, he was being really, really, really difficult, but I didn't think so. I'm like,
No, I
oh,
didn't think
he's
so
adapting
either. I
well.
didn't think he was being super difficult. I
Yeah.
don't think so either. And it's also like I think there's an element of like what we were talking about earlier is it's not just like I don't want to be here. It's kind of like I feel rejected
Yes.
because I was somewhere and I was like giving them 100%, and then they're like, bye, good luck,
Yeah.
So I got that too.
Yeah, yeah. And I like enjoyed that because I think in like a different if this story were in like a different author's hands, like I think it would be like kind of like the grumpy guy and the
Right.
shiny happy, woman and whatever. But like I was just rooting for the two of them the whole time. I mean, it was bonkers. Everything they did was bonkers, but I'm like,
Absolutely. 100%.
yeah.
100% crazy. But at the same time, I was rooting for him as well. But
Of
yeah, I was
course.
like,
Yeah.
this is the craziest relationship I've ever. There was a lot of crazy things in this book, though. I feel like
Mhm.
you read a lot of these books, right?
Mhm.
And are the characters always this kind of like broad kind of, and then like the situations like the dog with the dog collar that,
Mhm.
like, I was like, is that even a real thing, like dog collars that can do that? And
Yeah.
but like, is that kind of how tonally this is kind of tonally how a lot of these books are?
I will say with this author, I have read other books of hers, and like, and almost to the point where like I was like had to be like, oh yeah, this is a Pippa Grant book. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I feel like there was a lot in this book, and I honestly think more so than other books, yes, but I think that's maybe what is the author might be known for, like in her stories, is just like bonkers, 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 this,
Right.
that, and it's like,
That
oh,
makes sense.
you're bouncing all over the place. And I think that's like the point, maybe, like, and so I think that's what makes this book stand out. But I think in terms of like there's like broad things in other books, like rom-coms and things like that. But
Right.
this was like just everyone had a bit. Everyone had a bit.
Yes, they did. That's what I was thinking too. Is I was like, everyone's got like their like little joke and their little like how they act, and like the text chain between his. I was like, if I was on a text chain like that, I would just literally throw my phone away. Like, you know what I mean? Like such
Yes.
an like too much. Like if my brother and sister ever were like, here's what's going on in my sex life, I would just I mean, like I'm on a text chain with them. We
Mhm.
don't talk about this thing. Like never.
I was stunned. I was stunned
Yeah.
because that's the same with my family too. I'm like, wait, these aren't like I had to like double check. Like these aren't his buddies. This is like
No,
his
it's his
sister.
family. And it was just like, when I get him home, I'm gonna, blah blah blue, and then like, hey, 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 and I was just like, if my brother ever said something like that to me, I would be like, you're disgusting, and I'm like, you need to see a therapist because it's inappropriate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I like would be in therapy if I were receiving.
It's too weird, right?
It's so weird, but like I guess in a way it was like okay, maybe that's like what made him his character like very much attracted to Mackenzie and kind of like gravitate towards this world because he's like my family's fucking nuts.
Right, 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 right. I get that too.
You
I get
know.
that like you're attracted to kind of what like you grew up with or
Yeah.
whatever.
Not that
Yeah.
like Mackenzie's his mom or anything, but
No,
there's
but
the
it does, but I get that. I get that.
yeah.
That does make sense. That's a good theory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean, I wouldn't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. Was there like like a bonkers element of this book that was just like, whoa, this is a lot. Like this maybe we didn't need this, or like it was because like for me it was the dog collar. Like I'm like I didn't need the dog collar.
No, I thought the dog collar was like wild.
Hmm.
So the dog collar is that when the dog would bark, it would translate it into words,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Hmm.
Someone had programmed it to only swear or say
Hmm.
dirty things. So
Hmm.
that it was like the dog would bark and then be like, go fuck yourself. And it was just like, that was just very bizarre to me. Even though I have a deep, deep, deep desire for my dog to speak to me.
We all
Like, you
do.
know what I mean? I mean, like almost every day, I'm like, God, if she, I would love if my dog could speak to me. I also would love if my dog had a phone that like when we were apart, we could text. That's the big thing. It's like,
Hmm.
like when I'm out sometimes, or like I go out of town, sometimes I'm like, God, I wish I could just text her and be like, are you having fun with the dog sitter
Aww.
or something,
Hmm.
Be like, yeah, it's great. Um, but I thought that was wild. I also thought that the people who were not sports people, when their jobs were revealed, those were really crazy. What was
Hmm.
her job? Was something
A
and
trash engineer, or like she's a engineer, a sanitation engineer.
yeah,
So
a sanitation engineer. I don't know if that's a real thing. Maybe it
I don't
is.
know. Yeah.
And then
Hmm.
her friend had her best friend. Their jobs were just very bizarre. Her best friend had a science blog and was also an engineer.
Hmm.
So that was the thing where I was like, I laughed out loud. Was that because I was like, huh? Like what?
Yeah.
Like
It was crazy because I mean I kind of like it was like oh, okay, I guess this means she's smart and can like
right. I think that
is
was
a problem solver.
the gist of it, but also she never had to go to work. She never had to go to work.
No, she take like when you first meet her, she is got in Florida spring training with these guys. She
Right.
took 2 weeks off of work, and then she just leaves work a lot to just go to the games, which
Yeah.
any other job you get fired for.
No, yeah. She was I was like, I mean, whatever in trash you're trying to engineer, it's not getting done. It's not getting done.
There's
Because
so much trash that needs to be
you're
taken
never
out.
yes. That city, whatever city this team is in, is just living in a pile of trash. So it's like yeah, that part I was like, no one here goes to work. Like,
I know.
I was very aware of like no one was ever at work.
Yeah.
And also like, what's a science blog? Like, if someone said to you like, I have a science blog, wouldn't you kind of be like, can you narrow that down for me? Because like science is broad. That's like saying
Yeah.
I have an arts blog. Like,
Right.
like there's and then like, who's going to your science blog and what do you do? Like, how do you? I don't know. Like, I was like that. I was really like, huh? A science
Yeah.
blog? Okay, okay.
Because, like, in the real world, there's like, it would be so cool if I could have a science blog and make
Oh, I love
my
it.
fortune. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
not like that at all. And so it's like when I read something like this, is like, oh, you're a blogger. And it's like, but you don't have any other side hustles. You're not like
No.
or you don't have a
Right,
full time
right,
job in
right.
addition to this. And I'm like, this world's strange.
Yes, exactly. I was like, I kind of want to live in this world where, like, yeah, you can just be like, I don't have to go to work, but I'm a scientist, you
Yeah.
know. But that was part that I thought was wild. I thought all the interactions, I thought it was another thing that I thought was really funny or kind of like in that same vein was like, so she has two gay dads and it's fine, like great. And they're drag queens, yes, all of it, you know, so we get those fun scenes of that, but that she was really, really like living in this fear. And maybe it's because it takes place in the South. Again, now like I've shit on San Antonio and I'm just in the South in broad strokes here. But I think maybe there is that fear of homophobia, but like that to me, I was like, wow, she's really afraid. Like she was so protective of her dad and so suspicious that he was gonna make fun of her having two gay dads. And I found that a little but it's like what you were saying about somebody who doesn't know any Jewish people. So maybe she's just assuming he's from New York, so it's like, is
You
he
would
gonna
think
be like,
he
gay
would.
people? What's that? You know what I mean? Like,
Drag? I don't
yeah,
understand.
drag. I don't know what that is.
They don't have
Yeah.
that in New York.
Yeah. So but that was like maybe also it was timely, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, with the drag queens who are
It,
like
mhm.
I
It
don't know.
felt very timely, and it's like I guess I can understand where she's coming from. Like okay, her whole life, you know, she was attacked, her family was attacked, you know, and it's like, yo, you're always on guard, you're always ready to
Yes.
go. So I guess it's like, oh, okay, no matter who is approaching you or like trying to get close to you, like it's just, I don't know. I wonder if it's hard for her not to be on guard, even though this guy is from New York. She knows his family's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like she knows him so well by the
Yeah.
time we get to the introduction of the dads. It's like, oh, is like, does she need to be as worried as she is?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, that was it. Like you got that he's not a dick. You got that he's not like this. I feel like can spot a homophobe. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I just
Yeah.
got back from Iowa, and my sister and I played this kind of game in the airport of like, is this person someone that we would just basically like, you know, someone we would jive with or someone that is, and then you can really feel it coming off people.
Oh
And,
yeah.
you know, like, of like, yeah, that person definitely is like not into drag queens or whatever. But it's just like,
Yeah.
even
There's the
he's
look,
like,
you know.
there's a look, there's a volume of speaking, I would say. That's a little it's just gonna be a little bit louder than most people, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah. And yeah, there's definitely a look. There's
Yeah.
definitely like in especially like in like a place like, you know, Iowa, where it's just, you know, there was like when I was there, we were in the airport and there was a conversation happening, like someone was sitting here and then someone was sitting way over there, but they were having a conversation about things that I was like, said to my sister, I was like, if I say anything, then they're gonna like, you know, like it was things that were very loud about that they were calling themselves deplorables and laughing about it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, laughing about the fact that minorities get advantages. Just like I was just like, yeah, well, I am home right now. So
Yeah, yeah. I wonder, is it like one of those things where it's like, okay, I gotta pick my battles and like,
oh
am
yeah, I
I?
mean, yes, like I was not in any place to be like, I'm gonna start a fight with these men. I was just like, that's not it for me. But my brother-in-law, what he does whenever he goes to Iowa is he wears he has a t-shirt that says trans lives matters, and he just wears that in the airport. And I'm like, that's a way to kind of be like, I'm a safe space, you know. So
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. But yeah,
That's smart. Yeah, because
yeah,
then it's like, okay, I'm a hub. This
yeah,
is the hub, you
yeah,
know. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And it does tend, those people tend to like be loud and then not, they won't, if you confront them or you're wearing something like that, they're just gonna be like, oh, well, I can't say anything because they'll get, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, they're just like over there, like just they're just like talking to themselves, almost like
yeah,
angry about something, and you're literally just getting Dunkin' Donut. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
it's crazy. So, but yeah, I didn't, I did, I felt like he didn't come across as somebody who would be uh a homophobe or anything like that. So
Right. Yeah. Because he's like he puts like he is so like at like right when he meets her, like I mean he meets her in that meatball costume for the first time,
right.
and you know that's silly, but like when he sees her for the first time, he's like, boy, like you know what I mean, like heart, like he is like.
He's like, Yeah, no, that too I love. I mean, how he's like,
Yeah.
oh shit. And the way they describe how they make each other feel. So one of the things I liked about this book was the like he said, she said, one chapter's in her
Hmm.
voice, the next chapter's in his. I love when books do stuff like that. It's so much, it's more fun or whatever, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
But like the way they would describe how seeing the other one made them feel physically, I
Hmm.
was like, those are never ways that I have personally felt when I was attracted to someone. And I
Yeah.
did ask a male friend of mine, I was like, when you see a hot girl, do you feel like your balls are going to explode? He's like, what? I was like, I read about where a guy would say, she said something to me and I got so turned on, I thought my balls would explode. And I'm like, I don't know if that's how I don't know. He said no. And
Hmm.
then for me, just very liberal use of the on her end of the word click,
Yeah.
which
Hmm.
that I did another thing I found shocking, I guess. For
Mm-hmm.
me, I mean that
Yeah.
in that like I don't like I said, like this level of spicy is not I don't read books this spicy all the time. And I
Right.
was like,
Yeah.
she's just calling it her pussy and her clit and just talking about what's going on. And I was like, wow, that's the she's not mincing words.
Right. Yeah. She like, and I, you know, what's so funny to me is that like I was shocked in this book because she sometimes refers to her pussy as vagina, and I was like, she's using the anatomically correct medical word. I don't
Yeah,
understand.
exactly. It's like I mean, like girl, you're like yeah, so she did go back and forth between the two. But like
Hmm.
it was more shocking when she said vagina because you were getting so
Yes.
used to like just the way they would think that the things they would say about each other sexually. I was like, my
Hmm.
goodness.
They were so horny. They were so horny,
Oh yeah.
understandably.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, bless his heart that he was supposed to be 30, right?
Hmm.
And then he's never had sex.
Yeah.
And and then he's just sounds like the way he's written, he's just hot as all get out. And then
Hmm.
she's like double because he's a baseball player and she's obsessed
Hmm.
with baseball, and suddenly this player is paying attention to her.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was like TikTok. I was glad when they finally got together, you
Oh
know.
yeah. Hmm.
I was like, they
I
needed.
loved that scene, by the
I
way.
did too. I
Yeah.
will say, now that was another scene. I will say I was surprised that they had sex while his dog was right there
Sure.
and could see the whole thing. That is
Sure.
uh, personally
Hmm.
not something I would do.
I agree. And during that moment, I was like, maybe the dog at the, during the very private moments was like sniffing over there somewhere
Right.
else.
Maybe. I mean, they were all in a
They
very
were all in
close, they were in a car.
yeah. And the
So that
dog
was
is
the other
like
thing.
talking
Like, the
aloud.
dog is right there and they're doing this in the car. And I feel that that is not a thing my dog needs to ever be present for in any way, shape, or form.
She's right behind you. I want you to know. I want her to chime in on this.
She's like conked out. She's like, you're talking, I mean, we don't need to worry about that happening. It never happens. She's just like she's passed out because she's like, I'm not worried that that's gonna happen anytime soon. Like, okay, I get it. Like, but no, but it has been a situation where I've been like, no, she's got to be somewhere else. That's
Yeah.
not. It's and I've asked other people who have pets, or like I've asked other people, like, are you? I don't. I think that that's kind of a pretty general thing. Is
Hmm.
people don't really want their animals around when they're doing that.
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean, I guess put them in a crate or something.
yeah,
Like,
or close the door or something like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Something. I mean, but in that moment, they couldn't do anything because they were just gonna do it right there, then and there in that car.
yeah.
So they had to have the dog there. But to me, I was like, wow, that is quite a way to lose your virginity
I
with
know.
your dog watching you. You know.
Yes. And in like the back of a car, which is like, I don't know, sometimes like in these other books that I've read where there was like a virginity premise, the loss of virginity scene was very monumental. It was in a beautiful, like the bed was perfect. They're in the hotel, or like this is the night they say they love you and stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's good, whatever. But I just like love that this was just in the back of a car, like 2 seconds long.
Yeah, I liked that too. Actually, kind of surprised me because there was such a buildup that I assumed, like what you're saying, I assumed it would be like some big monumental like thing where like one of them did a grand gesture. I actually assumed I'm like it's probably gonna be the last thing that happens in the book or
That's what I
whatever.
thought too. Yeah.
And but like I like thought it was good that they were just like all right and they just got it out of the way because
Mhm.
also then once they had done it it made sense where it happened in the book because then there was so much like what are the consequences of he's superstitious that if he loses his virginity he'll play bad, she's superstitious if she of the same thing for him,
Mhm.
and then like what are the consequences of now they're doing this and they can't they don't want to stop having sex, but like at the same time, like how's it going to affect his play and all that stuff.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was
I
fun.
thought it could have come sooner. I don't know. Maybe. Well, I mean, I don't know.
I did
Maybe it
well.
could have
I was like
come
it'll
sooner.
either end the book because sometimes in these books they have sex sooner and then
Hmm.
like there's just a ton of sex scenes sometimes. The one
Yeah.
I got at the church bazaar was like that. It was like
Hmm.
some I think it was like some mid like not I don't want to say medieval but maybe medievalish
Hmm.
kind of that's the genre or whatever, and like they it was there was I just remember there being like three or four very like throughout the book sex scenes that I could rem
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I just liked it because it's like he loses virginity in the back of the car, and then they like play baseball, like they play baseball in the park.
Oh, I forgot about that. Then they're like in the car, and then like the entire team's like, "Hi, we're here," because he was surprising her with the team, right?
Yeah, like they were gonna do like a team game, like it because it had something to do with the mascots or whatever. It was like the
Right,
mascots versus the players or something, and it
right.
was for publicity or
Mm-hmm,
something.
mm-hmm. But she
So
didn't know about it.
no, it was a
Again, this
surprise.
is the middle of this is like on a Monday, not
Yeah.
at
Oh, this is like she's like, oh, I'm gonna just like walk out and have a quick lunch break, and I'm like, it's been 45 minutes. I am so stressed for you.
Oh, I know. That was right. She was at work and she went out to have a lunch break and then she just clearly never came back to work.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
And
know. I
I
want to
was
work
so
at that
stressed.
science place. I want to be that kind of a scientist.
Yeah. Like, and there was like a part where when she was leaving, she was like, even like the assistant was like, you're gonna come back? Like,
Oh, really? What have you done it before? By the way, what is your name? Do you work here? Like, you know? Yeah. Yeah, I forgot that the whole team showed up right after they had sex. Which is
yeah.
and then they knocked on the window and were like, it's the police. Just kidding, it's the team.
Hmm.
You know, so that was good. That was
That
good.
was fun. Yeah. And then, like, after that, like, I liked it because then after that, it's like, yep, they had sex. He lost his virginity. Rest of this, like, they didn't make a big thing out of it, which was
No,
nice.
no. And then they just were like having sex all the time, which makes sense, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
He had some catching up to do and they were doing it and it was that part was like fun.
Yeah. What I liked is that, like, in this book, like, everyone is relying so much on superstition, and he like realizes that there is something about Mackenzie and what she's doing and her superstitions that are giving me luck. And then in the end, he's like, no, wait, it's Mackenzie being in my life. And I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah.
it's about love. It's not about superstition. It's about like having people in your
I
corner and
love,
stuff.
yeah. And I thought it was so sweet. Like I thought I did think that the way they fell in love with each other was really sweet and like genuine, you know,
Yeah.
for how crazy and kooky the book was. It was like this thing of like because it starts with two people that seem kind of especially I mean we talked about he just moved there so he was really lonely,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just seemed like I tend to think someone who's like that obsessed with something is probably lonely, right? Like it's
Yeah.
probably if you're getting community solely from that kind
Mm.
of a thing, there it's filling a void of something else. So
Yeah.
I even felt that from her from the beginning of like, oh, this is somebody who's lonely, you know.
Mm-hmm.
All her friends, her best friends coupled up,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, like, I don't know what's going on. She didn't really have any other friends, it didn't seem like, or at least that we knew about.
Yeah, but she was
Yeah.
also like awkward, like she's hanging around baseball players, but she can't talk to them, so she's
Yeah.
isolating herself too.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, so it just seemed like maybe it was two people who like were kind of leading these isolated in different ways lives that like opened each other up
Hmm.
to bigger things, and then also just like, yeah, their kind of caper was this, way to kind of cure, like, that what you're saying, like the awkwardness and the like insecurity stuff that they both had.
Hmm.
Everybody, he gets there, he's feeling like rejected, he had to be feeling bad about himself, right?
Yeah.
And like what you're saying, she can't talk to these people, so she obviously doesn't have like the highest self-esteem. And then
Hmm.
and then they kind of bring out the best in each other, where she
Yeah.
gets more confident throughout the book, and he
Hmm.
gets his mojo back as a baseball player.
Yeah, and he ends up like finding home, like
Yeah.
he like becomes closer with the team and gets like, very invested, and then there's the thing with like he decorates his apartment for like real, because he's like, "Oh, I'm
Yes.
living in the apartment now,"
Right.
like it is like a nesting journey for him.
Yes. And I love a good nesting journey.
Oh, me too. I
You
love
know,
a good nesting journey.
yeah.
Mhm.
As a nester myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
that, like, yeah, like when they decorated his apartment, I liked that too, because that to me
Yeah.
is like, it is that thing of like, that is such a key thing to making any place you live or staying feel like permanent.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
like decorating it and stuff. So
Yeah. And it's like what he need. I mean, what he needed was Mackenzie, but like he also needed a decorated
yes, yeah, yeah,
apartment.
yeah.
He needed a home, and he found
Yeah.
it with her, and he found it with her amazing decorative skills that she has.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And like then being like embraced by, they were just like both embraced by each other's families, which was really sweet. And
Mhm.
it just feels like they're both of their worlds expanded and not ultimately landed in the same place, which is like, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. If you're happy, that's the most important thing, right?
Exactly.
And that they both got there, and they
Mhm.
both at the beginning didn't, like, she was like, the team has to win at all costs, and he was like, I have to get out of here and go back to like where I'm, like, like the team I deserve to be on.
Right. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um it was so sweet. Okay, Amy, I'm going to ask
Yeah.
if you have any final thoughts, anything else you want to share, your thoughts about the book, and then I'm going to ask for rating. Now, ratings. This rating system I've decided is going to be Nutella and bacon sandwiches because that's something that she likes to
Yeah.
eat. It's
Yeah.
part of the good luck ritual. So 1 out of 5 Nutella bacon sandwiches means you didn't like it. 5 out of 5 means you loved it. And
Okay.
rate on how much you enjoyed it.
Okay. Do I have any final thoughts? I don't really. I think we covered a lot. I mean, in terms of
Yeah.
like what kind of final thoughts?
Mm,
I guess, like, yeah, I guess that it's like, that saying, if doesn't matter if you win or lose, it's how you play the game.
yeah.
Ultimately, that's what this book is about, right? How to
Absolutely.
play the game of getting each other together. And I liked that. And then on the Nutella, what is it? Nutella bacon?
Pancake
Yeah.
sandwiches. Yeah. Hmm.
Which is something I would, have you ever eaten something like that? Would you ever eat anything like that?
I haven't eaten something like that, and yes, I would eat something like
Okay.
that.
I'm
What about
curious.
you?
I don't know about I love bacon. I've
Hmm.
never had Nutella, but I'm sure I would love it.
Oh, Nutella's great.
But
It's the best.
I feel like I would probably try that.
Yeah.
Um, I recently had a donut with bacon on it for the first
Ooh.
time. Like, and I was like,
Hmm.
oh my God, I get what everybody's talking about.
Yeah,
Uh,
like I had chocolate with bacon bits in it, and I thought it was delicious.
yeah, I think it's the salty, that all tracks for
Hmm.
me.
Hmm.
I'm gonna give it a 4.8
Hmm.
out of 5, because I
Hmm.
will say I had I just was really enjoying reading it. It was really fun to read, and it just like hit at a time where I was like, I really need something like a fun thing to do right now and a fun thing to read. And so I was very, very glad that I was reading it. And you can cut this out if you need to for time or whatever, but I will tell you that I was trying to finish it the other day and I was getting distracted. So I was like, there's a diner that I love by my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm just going to go sit in the diner and finish it. Cause I had like 30 pages left. And I was like, I just going to get lunch there. I'll finish it, whatever. And so I'm just like reading and it's like, I'm like, have it kind of probably like this or whatever. And some woman, which has never happened to me when I'm reading in public, some older woman just walked up to me. She goes, is it good? And I was like so confused. I mean, I knew she was asking about the book, but I was like, does she know Pippa Grant? It was like, are these her books? Has she read this book? All this stuff. But I think it was just a broader question of, are you enjoying what you're reading? But I was just like, oh yeah, it's really fun. And I acted as if she like read these kind of books.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, Jock Blocked. Like, have you read it? She goes, oh no, I don't read those. And she laughed. And I was like, well, you're like, when she left, I wanted to be like, well, you're missing out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's on you. Because
I was like ready for her to be like, no, I haven't read those, but I've read this and this and that. And then
that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
When she got all kind of like, oh, I haven't, no. Like, I was just kind of like, well, that's on you. You're
enjoy
having
War and Peace.
And that's your problem, not mine.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Like, again, it's like those people in the airport. It's like you're leaving mad.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. Exactly that. Yeah. I mean, I felt like she was just kind of like, but I also thought it was like really weird that for the first time, have you ever had someone just come up to you in public that you don't know and ask if you're enjoying reading? That in and of itself was kind of weird to me.
Yeah, that is weird. Yeah.
But like, cause I mean, yeah, I didn't think it was weird that I was making the assumption that she was like, had seen the cover or was like, I read those kind of books or knew the author or something.
Yeah.
Because the way she just said, is it good? I was like, oh, she must be into this genre of writing and she's wondering if this is a good one to pick up.
No, it just sounds like she hadn't talked to anyone for 27 years and was like.
Yeah, I think that probably was it. Like she needs to like be dropped into one of these books.
She needs to get Jock Blocked.
She needs to get Jock Blocked. She needs to Jock Block somebody and get Jock Blocked and then have sex in the back of a car with a dog watching her.
Yeah.
All of it.
It's the secret. It's the key to a good life,
Yeah. That is the key to a good life.
It's so funny. Like I actually like had 30 pages left too. And I walked to, I live in Frogtown, so I walked over to the river park and I just like put out a blanket and I finished it like in the park. It was so lovely and peaceful. And
that's so nice.
No one came up to me. Well, a dog came up to me, but no human.
Cute. No, yeah. I just thought that was really wild that she did come up to me while I was reading it. And all these things were going through my head too. Like I was like, do I want to explain that I'm reading for your podcast or like tell her like, but then I just said, I just go, it's Jock Blocked. Like as if she would know what I was talking about. I don't know. Jock Blocked.
She is reading it right now. I guarantee you.
She is. I'm sure she went home and immediately Amazoned this book and is deep in it.
Yeah. That's how I feel like when I see people having those reactions. I'm like, you want to read it. You just admit to yourself you want to. You're going to be thinking about it for the rest of your life if you don't read it. Yeah.
And do you read these books? Do you read, how many of these, like you read, have you been reading these for a long time and do you read a lot of them? It sounds like you're like, this is a Pippa Grant, like this is her style. So you read a lot of them.
Yeah, I read, like, it is like predominantly what I read. I think, yes, because of the podcast, but I was reading them before the podcast as like, I was like, it was like, I would read like other books, but then it just got to the point where it was like, oh, it became like this special time between me and I want to just like escape, all that stuff. So I've been reading them since I was for like close to like 15 years now, I'd say. Okay. But like I've always liked like Jane Eyre and like, Pride and Prejudice and things like that. And And so, yeah, I mean, I think I read about like 4 to 6 a month, depending. And then, well, I mean, including listening to audiobooks at the same time, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was like, oh my God, like I'm such a slow reader or something. But I will say that's a new thing for me too. I started listening to audiobooks. I don't know why I didn't before, but it's like I see people like on Book Talk a lot of times, and they're like, I read 12 books this month, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, that's crazy, and she was like, that's including audiobooks, and I was like, oh, if you get to include those, and then I started doing it, and I was like, oh, I am like, I'm keeping a list this year for the first time of all the books that I read. I had never done that, and I'm like, that's a smart thing to do, to look back on at the end of the year. And I'm like, I've read a lot. And I'm like, because at the same time, I'm doing an audiobook. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, like, I know, like, it's like, who cares if you're, like, if people are slow read, like, if you read one book, like, just, you know, if you're having fun, who cares?
Yeah.
It's fun, you know?
But is this book on audio? Is this a book I could have found?
You know what? I think I think there was an audio version.
Because I did think when I was reading this, I was like, this is the kind of book that would be really fun to listen to.
These books, I will say, I do listen to a lot of like these types of books on audio, and they are very good. Like, it is just fun to be like driving and then like hearing like a sexy male voice, and then just like her, like, I don't know, the acting and the reading, it's all so good. They're all good.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna do that for the next one. Let's do it as an Audible book.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Amy, oh, I forgot to give a rating. I give these 5 bacon Nutella sandwiches out of 5. I loved it.
Hey, I did too. I don't know why I gave it a 4.8.
No, but that's fine, because like I feel like there were parts where I'm like, oh, this could be cut, this could be slowed down. Like if the writer was like, can you do a rewrite on this and do whatever you want to do, I would do that, you know. Right. But it's because I loved it, you know.
Yeah. I think it was really, really great. I feel like I'm like, am I not supposed to give things 5? I don't know. That's something I should look into in my own personal life.
Yes. Okay. I mean, listen, the fact that you're using decimals, I mean,
I don't know. I just was like, I wanted to get close to a 5, but I was like, is anything a 5? I don't know. That's something I'm going to dive into it.
No, that's the question. Yeah. Is anything a 5? For me, everything's a 7. No.
For me, everything's a 2. Cry. Yes, but thank you for having me, and thank you for like picking this book. I loved it. It was super fun.
It makes me so happy that you enjoyed it. It really, what a thrill. So thank you for being a guest. This was so fun. Too Stupid to Live is part of the Frolic Podcast Network. For more podcasts you'll love, visit frolic.media/podcasts. Check out the show notes at tstlpodcast.com for a list of the books that Amy recommended, as well as my genius synopsis of Jock Blocked. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great rest of your day.